I think we can all agree that brushes are one of the most important things that we should have as far as applying makeup. I mean, you can do it with your fingers, you can do it with your hands, but I think that if you want more of a flawless application or if you want to be more precise in how you apply your makeup, you do need brushes, sponges, and all those tools that make it so much easier. So, no matter if you spend $20 on a brush or $40 in a brush, or if you get a set from eBay, we all should know how to care for our brushes. Now, today I'm going to share with you how I do it. So, hopefully, it will give you some ideas on how you can do it as well or try it at home. So, the things that we're going to need is number one is a brush egg. I got this one in a set of brushes that I did a review. I'll link it up there in the screen, but you can find it at Walmart for about $4 to $5 if I'm not mistaken. I also gonna be using the Real Techniques brush cleanser. It's a gel consistency, and I've been using like a bar soap for washing all my tools, but recently I switched to this one and this new technique that it's using this kind of a dual dish thingy. You can do it in two different dishes. I mean, whatever you have at home, it will work. In this video, I'm going to wash every single brush I have in my collection with the same technique. So this is a powder brush. It's a pretty big brush. I'm also going to do the sponge, which is not going to take all the steps that a brush does, but just so you know, and look at this. This is like really dirty. Now also the powder brush, everything that I'm gonna share with you here in this video, the technique, it works for all kinds of brushes. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of this soap in one side of the dish, which is the smaller one, and then I'm also gonna put water on the other side. Now you can do it in a deeper dish, you can put more water if you want to, but the idea behind this is just to share how I do it. Not only because in this way I can save a little bit of water instead of just having the running water constantly, but also at the same time it's just like I don't have too much water, so it's not too dirty, and I'm kind of sharing the dirt with all my brushes. I start with the cleaner or the cleanest one and that I have, or the white ones. That's always how I start because I feel like I want to make sure that I remove every single stain. So using the brush egg, I'm just gonna go from one side to the other, and if it does have a little bit more, then I concentrate on the first part or the tip. That's where it has more of a precision to clean it. Now I'm gonna set it on the side. I'm not gonna rinse it right away because I want to make sure that if it does have any stains, they're gonna come off with the contact of the soap. Now this is a different brush, and as you can see, it gives you a lot of foam. It's gonna depend of how it's made, or the bristles, what they're made out of. So you're gonna see a lot of foam or just a little. Now, this is one of those brushes that I use with cream products or cream eyeshadows, so of course I'm gonna take my time and maybe repeat the process a couple of times. It's just gonna depend of what you use that brush for, that it's gonna need more than once or not. For example, this one, I use it for powder eyeshadow, and as you can see, it's pretty clean. So I do it once and then I put it on the side. This doesn't damage the bristles, doesn't damage the brush egg, doesn't mess with anything, so you don't really have to be too precise or too careful because it's gentle enough that you only clean it. Also, this is another brush that I use for cream products, and this is very dense. It's really dense compared to the first one that I showed you that I use with cream products. So with this one, I wanted to share with you because it's like a process. You do it over and over again, maybe 2 or 3 times until you're sure that there's no more product in the brush. Now, in order to be this white, you probably have to do it 2 or 3 times, but that's the beauty of doing it this way. You don't have the running water, you don't have to be just, you can take your time. Now, the next one is by It Cosmetics, and I think it's one of the most expensive brushes I have. I think it's $48. I found something really similar that I'll link that video in the top of the screen right now if you want to check it out. But basically, this is the one that, because of the bristles, it takes me the longest to wash it. It doesn't have any cream products, even though it looks really dirty once it's wet. It's just I use it with translucent powder, so it shouldn't be that dirty, but I still take the time and kind of do it about 4 to 5 times. Sometimes I have to reapply a little bit of the soap. Sometimes no, I have to do it because if I want to wash all my brushes, it does take more than whatever you saw at the beginning. So I wanted to include that as well. So you know that, you just have to keep applying. I'd rather do that than put too much at the beginning and then have the soap all dirty. So once again, that's why I do it that way. Now, face brushes, they do take a little bit longer, not too much longer. I mean, it's pretty easy with this brush egg thing and this cleanser, so you don't, it's not the same as what I used to do before to clean my brushes. But I want to make sure that if I'm going to clean my brushes once a week, everything should be spotless by the time I'm done. And I'm going back into the soap for a few times because it was mostly water that was there, so I wanted to make sure that I could get every last bit of the soap. Now these ones are the smaller brushes like eyeliners and stuff, so I usually get them like 4 or 5 at the time, and I go through the brush egg, and that way I feel like I don't have to spend my time to do it one by one. Now after I'm done with all my brushes, I start to rinse, and I rinse them facing down because if you put them up, the water is going to get inside the ferrule and all the bristles are going to start to come loose, or some of them they're going to come loose. So for that reason, I know my hand is on the way, but I was trying to show you that they're pointing downward, and that's how I kind of try to make sure that I keep them that way, so I know that the water is not going to get inside the brush and ruin it. So it doesn't matter if it's expensive or if it's affordable, we just want to make sure that we care for them. Now once again, when there are small brushes, I do it like 4 or 5 at the time, so I don't have to rinse them one by one. Now at this point, I'm going to get a clean towel and I'm going to dry them, but dry them really well. I'm going to go through the entire brush, not only the bristles, but this is going to give you like one of the final steps, or actually the final step before you just set them to dry. Now what I do is I kind of go like twirling the brush so it keeps the shape, and that way I don't feel like all the bristles are gonna go in different directions. I feel like that's the best way to keep them in shape. I know there are some kind of guards that a lot of people use. I haven't bought them, I haven't tried them yet, but I find that this works pretty well for me, so that's what I do. Now once again, I get 4 or 5 brushes at a time when they're eye brushes because I don't feel the need to do them one by one. They're clean, they just need to be dry, so I can cut the drying time in maybe half or less. So once again, I go through the entire brush and also the bristles, and as you can see, they look really, really good. And I'm gonna do that with all my brushes, and then I'm gonna set them on the sink right there. I mean, I rarely see any water coming out of them because, as you can see, I do take my time to dry them really well. And also keep in mind that if you have like dual side, or make sure that you get both sides to make sure that they're dry. And once again, this helps my brushes to not lose any bristles. That's key for me to keep even the most cheap brushes looking perfect. Now I'm gonna set them there, and as you can see, I already did all my brushes. They look all clean, and that way I'm just gonna take them downstairs and get them ready for the next week in makeup. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.